And What's New to BGA brings you Orapa Mine, a abstract strategy game where you're trying to figure out and deduce a puzzle. This one looks like it came out last year. It's got about 500 ratings so far. It's rated pretty high so far for those 500 ratings at 7.5. It is a 2 to 5 player game. There is a solo version on BGA as well, and it's voted best with 2 players so far. Like I said, solo version, and then 11 minutes real-time BGA says. There are 2 little tiny expansions to explore once you've kind of mastered the base. They're each tiny, just smaller little things. And overall, I think this one works fine, real-time and turn-based. You definitely probably have to look at the log turn-based to see what happens, what's the results of your actions, and maybe take a little bit of notes for sure. The physical version, I think, might have a little bit of a leg up just because the notes might be a bit easier to make compared to the digital version. Also, this is one of the games where in the physical version, you're both making your own puzzle and each other's trying to guess your puzzle. And in this version on BGA, you're actually both trying to guess the same puzzle. And I feel like that takes a little away from the game. All right, first the goal of game. First, this is a completed board. You see the pieces are all here. But in this game, you're trying to figure out where each of these pieces are on the board. They can be anywhere on the board. They can be rotated. The red one can actually be flipped. And you're trying to deduce that. Once one player solves the puzzle, the game is over. During your turn, you have 3 options. You can send a ultrasound wave, which is the laser. You can ask about a specific position, or you can submit your guess. Now here, my opponent sent a wave. It left 5 and went down, and it hit nothing and came out M. So we both know that there is nothing in here. You can see these are the possible pieces. You see they can rotate around. The red one can actually be flipped. You're going to be placing these pieces on the board trying to get your best guess. You're going to slowly be putting more pieces on the board as you get more information, and then once you know the answer, you're going to submit it. I think my first guess was I shot a laser at a beam, it hit, and then came out the 2. So I knew instantly that it was white, so it had to hit a white piece, and it had to have some kind of bend to send it out 2. Now BGA does have a good cheat sheet down here in the notes. We'll show you what color will come out depending on what it hits. So if you get an orange, you know that it hit 2 pieces and it was red and yellow. You don't know the order, it could happen in any order, but it's going to be those 2 pieces. Now if a light hits the same piece again, it's not counted in that total, if that makes sense. For example, here, 17, it came out black. The laser would shoot out here, bounce to this guy, bounce here, and then it would come all the way back. That's still only 3 hits, even though it technically bounces back off the yellow and the red. You only count each piece once. So you see 3 there. I was able to go to here and go, okay, what's black? Black is going to be blue, red, and yellow. And that helped me decide where each of these pieces were. Another thing you can do is ask specific questions. So if I want to know what's in D2 right here, I can click and confirm, and it will tell me. And there was nothing in D2 right there, so I got a black X. And obviously all the information you get is being shared to your opponents as well. So there my opponent shot a laser out. It came back yellow in the same entrance. I know some point in this column, the yellow piece is going to be there, and it'll probably be in this orientation or this orientation where the laser comes down and hits it. In BGA, I can move these around and try to move it around and figure out, make some guesses. If I decide it actually is over here, you can move each piece individually. This is a game that works probably a lot better on a computer than a tablet because moving these pieces around was not easy on a phone. Then you and your opponent are going to keep shooting lasers out until you have a good idea where every piece is. There are 5 pieces in the base version. Like I said, they can be rotated around, and the red one can be flipped in different orientations. In the digital version, you do get 2 guesses, so you don't lose instantly, whereas in the physical version, you only get 1, and then you lose if you get it wrong. Important things about setup, obviously pieces can't be hanging over. Pieces can't touch, and then pieces have to be visible from the exterior side of the board. So if a piece was completely surrounded where no laser could actually bounce off of it, that's not a legal place. Notice that O here, this is a legal setup, to set up where two corners touch. That is legal. Shooting off lasers until you figure it all out, and then you make a guess. This is a tough one. Much like digit code, I think I would rather play this physically. And I don't say that very often. Most of the games on BGA are good digital options. I feel like, yes, I'm giving up the tactileness of playing with the board, but I'm still getting a pretty good experience. This digital creation of the game changes it such a way. I feel like you're going to get to a skill level in this game where you and your opponent both know the answer at the same time. So it's going to be it's going to change in such a way where maybe you're not going to guess a certain way, because if I guess here, that'll give away the answer and I'll lose. It's just not as interesting as if you both had your own code guessing. I know why they did this. It being digital, it can actually do the code for you, whereas in print, there's no way to do that without having a player just sitting out, which would be boring. So it's just a tough position. I think I'm going to give it a 7 because I do enjoy it. I do like it. But I honestly think if I played it physically, it might go to an 8. I think I would enjoy it a little bit more. I'm actually going to try to find this one and play it in person, because I think that both of us having our own little puzzles will make it a lot better. And there's a big part of the game having to design your puzzle. You skip all that in the digital version. If I design my own puzzle for my opponent, putting certain pieces a certain way, triggering, there's definitely a game and a thought process behind that once you really understand the game. Well, I've been the Digital Board Gamer. As always, good luck and have fun.